Hi everyone, welcome into this week's bi-weekly CBS Fix. Hope you had a wonderful Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot. Hope everything is well. So, in this week's Parshas Braishis, very many principles in this week's Parsha, and would like to talk to you about one of them. So, I don't know if you've ever spaced out in your life. Have you ever spaced out or been called a space cadet? Okay, so if you have not, I'd like you to space out a little bit. Now, the way we're going to do that is we're going to try to figure out, or at least talk about how large space really is. Because it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, whether he created it first, second, or not discovered, but certainly Hashem created the heavens, and he also created the earth. Now, what's interesting is that the Torah puts the two together. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. So to appreciate this question, first, let's try to discuss how large heaven is. So everybody knows that heavens is actually limitless. It's infinite. Now, to appreciate this a little bit more, let's just put it into a few better terms. So the scientific world is like really excited that they have an even better telescope than the Hubble telescope. Now they could zoom in even more and see who knows how much better, right? But let's pretend for a second here. I have this book over here. Let's pretend for a second that this is where we are, this is Earth, and all the way down here, all the way out here is 40 trillion light years away. That's how far it is from here to here. Now, the Hubble telescope was able to go from here and zoom in till here. You see my finger move? Yeah, it's because it barely moved. Because on the great scale of 40 trillion light years away, it's not too far. Now they're excited that they're able to see from here all the way now till here. Wow, isn't that amazing? Now, what happens when you zoom in to something that's infinite? Nothing. You're just going to get nowhere. You go for the closer you get, you realize that this book doesn't really end there. It just ends all the way down there, except really far down. And limitless. Now, our brains, hard for our brains to imagine what limitless means. I mean, limitless means limitless, like endless. I mean, the more we zoom in, we realize we're actually getting nowhere. It's like the big joke on us. It's like if Superman were to fly around the world at a trillion million miles an hour for a trillion years, he'd eventually go crazy, and he himself would stop and say, "Who made all this?" He'd go, like the verse says, "Mi barakalela." He'd go crazy. And so therefore, we have to realize space is just endless. And yet, the Torah says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Like, earth is this tiny little speck among the massiveness of space. Like, why did the Torah put the two in the same sentence? It's like saying God created all of the New York, New Jersey area, or the entire Philadelphia, and this one spot right over here on the floor. This one spot in the entire Philadelphia, this one spot in the entire New York, New Jersey area, the entire United States, and this one dot. You don't put the one dot in the same sentence as the entire United States, except that one dot is much bigger compared to the United States than Earth is to the entire world, the entire universe. So why is the Torah putting it together? The answer is what it says in the next verse. And the earth was without form. That means the background of the Torah, telling us about space and then telling us about earth. If Hashem immediately concentrates on earth and tells us about the earth and then everything that grew on the earth, and that eventually man was put on there, that means to Hashem is not interested about all the space out there. It's all nothing. It's just like background scenery for the main character over here called Earth. It's like sometimes in the films you'll see like they'll zoom out and then they'll zoom into a city and then they'll zoom into a street and then they'll show you the main character, right? It's just a background to let you kind of introduce you to the main character is. And over here the main character is Earth. And once Earth is talked about, the background of space isn't talked about again, which then tells us that Hashem doesn't care about anything going on out there. That means there's no other peoples out there. There's no alien life out there that Hashem is talking to, that they're in cohorts. It's nothing about them. It's all about Earth, what's on this Earth. Not two Earths, not another Earth that they may have found a 9 billion light years away. That's great science, by the way. You know where it is? It's 9 billion light years away. That's really convincing. And so Torah says this Earth. And then the Torah talks about earth a little bit. But you know what? Earth is not too important because there's another main actor over here. And who that is? You. That's right. Mankind. Mankind. And so therefore, the Torah is then telling us how important we are. Not important to the sense that we have to be all braggy and I'm awesome. You are awesome. But not in the sense that you should think that you're awesome. In the sense that you have to realize how much responsibility you have in this world and how large of an onus Hashem is putting on you that you should do what exactly He put you onto this world to do. And therefore you have a lot of responsibility. And therefore you have an incredible opportunity over here. And that's why realizing this is so important. That's why having children is so important. That's why doing whatever it is that you can do to make a difference in somebody else's life, and especially in your own life, is so important. When Hashem created the world, and Hashem made trees all of a sudden all over the place. Big trees, small trees, tall trees, large trees, old trees, new trees. When Hashem created animals, same thing with animals, a whole bunch of different animals. When Hashem created man, just one person. Why? Because Hashem is telling us that the entire world is worth making just for the sake of one great person. Hashem wants us to be great, and we can be great. We just have to be guided in the right way. And so therefore, tap into that greatness that you have and realize there's nothing else out there. There's nothing out there. It's just the way people are. We've spoken before. Just what's out there? Nothing. There's nothing there. It's just your imagination telling you something. We're watching too many movies. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Maybe there are aliens. It's nothing. You are important. I've said to you before. I said any astronaut that goes up to space, up to the moon, you know what they're all doing when they get there? They're all looking back at Earth. Wow. So it's all right over here. It's all really on Earth. Have a great Shabbos. Thank you for listening and know how important you are. That's what this is all about. Have a great Shabbos.